Dune Awakening has been out for about a week, and now people are pouring into Arrakis, setting their homes up in the vast Harko Basin. As you progress through the initial portions of the story, you'll unlock an NPC that will take you to other locations using an ornithopter, but have you visited those locations yet? In this video today, I want to talk about how important Harko Village and Arrakeen are, depending on which faction you go with. Harko Village is the hub for the Harkonnen faction, modeled after Getty Prime, and Arrakeen is the opposite for the Atreides faction. But these are more than mere faction hubs. If this is your first time on my channel, the way I do things is by upfronting the knowledge of my videos. So let me give you the down and dirty here. Both hubs are exactly the same, just different aesthetically and with slightly different vendor offerings, as there is a RNG to certain vendor offerings. It's worth noting too that Arrakeen vendors sell both Atreides and Harkonnen faction items, same as Harko Village. I'm sorry, specifically Arrakeen scrap vendors. I'm unsure if that's a bug or not, but I wanted to point that out. In addition, you'll find a bank that you can deposit all of your Solari at. This seems pointless, but what it does is allows you to deposit all of your money and then have that money be usable at any vendor anywhere at any time. So if you stumble across a new location that has a vendor, you don't need to run back to get funds. It also ensures that it's not eaten by a sandworm. There's an auction house, which is quiet at the moment, but allows you to sell items or schematics, especially the blueprints for a base you've designed as well. You'll also find a place to pay your taxes and that of any house you're co-owner to. This is crucial because if you don't pay your taxes, your shields shut off and the house will slowly decay. You get an extra week of leniency after you miss the due date for your taxes, but make sure you pay them. You'll also find a housing and furniture merchant, a bar, and a number of other offerings. Lastly, there's the Landsraad merchants you can buy stuff from if your faction is winning the Landsraad. Really, the big things here are the faction merchants, the bank, and the exchange, though. But that's too long to watch this entire video. There's more nuance which we'll go into, but if that's all you wanted to know, please feel free to shut the video down. I want to be respectful of your time. If you are heading out and you found the information in this video helpful, please don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe, as each one of those helps me out in a huge way. Lastly, you can find links below to my other Dune videos, as well as my Twitch, where I'll be doing giveaways of Dune all launch week. But let's get started on why you should be visiting the social hubs in Dune Awakening. So to actually access Arrakeen, you can either, or well, Harko Village for that matter, you can fly there through your own ornithopter. Harko Village is a little bit easier to find on your own, or you go ahead and talk to this person. Character looks just like me. Don't mind the construction going on in the background. You say, I want you to fly me somewhere. And you say either Harko Village or Arrakeen. Now, if you have your own ornithopter, you can just do this for free, but I don't yet. So we do this and we have to pay credits. So you can see here that I've got Solari coin and Solari credit. We're gonna talk about that when we talk about banks, but Solari coin is on your person, credit is in your bank. So we're gonna go ahead and pay those Solari right now. And this takes us here into Arrakeen, again, or Harko Village, whichever one you go. Just know that if you want to go back, it's free. That was something that when I first discovered this in the game, it was like, oh, it's 2,500. I don't have all that kind of money to go and do that. And I don't want to pay the 2,500 back. Just know it's just 2,500 there and then free travel back to anywhere on Harko Basin. Starting us off, we're going to look at the entirety of Arrakeen. Now, Arrakeen is the Atreides allied location. Harko Village is the same, it's just kind of set up differently and has a different aesthetic, albeit maybe probably a cooler aesthetic. It just depends on what you want. Now, the big focus here is going to be the CHOAM Exchange. That's you're probably going to spend the majority of your time, but you also have the Warrens, you've got the Imperial Consulate. Both of these locations you're going to be going to quite a bit. The bar, probably not as much, but you'll probably hit up these little vendors in between. So I just wanted to kind of give a quick overview of this location. You'll also probably want to hit up your faction vendor, depending on what you are, Atreides or Harkonnen. You've got this guy, the scrap trader, that's going to trade you a weekly set inventory, and every week that'll swap around. We'll talk about that one too. So here is the overview of the city. Let's jump into the CHOAM Exchange, because I think it's, like I said, the place that we'll probably be spending the most as we jump into these locations. So with the CHOAM Exchange, we're going to get two primary locations to really take a look at. Let's go with the first one over here. It's the bank. This guy who looks like he's going to tell me not to pass go or collect $200. We talked about this earlier, right? Okay, it's not right now, man. We talked about this earlier. We've got the ability to deposit items into a bank. Press this button, and we can do so. Or we can.
Would you like to deposit or withdraw Solari?
He sounds like he's going to tell me not to pass go. But we also have this ability to deposit. So I have 23,000 coins on my person, and like I said earlier, 39,000 in the bank. So we're going to press deposit
Would you like to deposit?
and just deposit all. Now, if I go back to talk to this dude, I've got 0 and 63,000 in the bank. Like I said before, this allows us to buy things remotely from any vendor that we encounter. So we don't have to focus so much on dealing with carrying money around. We don't have to worry about getting consumed by a worm and having a chunk of change on us, whatever it is. I wouldn't say to do this every time you accrue money, but just find a little time here and there. Hey, you know what? I'm going to go to Arrakeen to pay taxes. I'm going to go to Arrakeen to check out the exchange, whatever it is. Take all your money with you and just dump it here into the bank. This way you can use it at any vendor that you encounter. Now, the other portion of CHOAM Exchange is the actual CHOAM Exchange, which is to say it's an auction house. From this location, you're going to be able to buy light armor, heavy armor, still suits. You can buy a bunch of different things you can buy pretty much everything in the game. So some things to take a note of here, though. This is not really a set economy yet. This is pretty early in the game. I think some people are just now discovering this, and prices are blown out of proportion. So you could get, hey, I can go get a schematic and then just build the item and slap it on the exchange here, see if I can make some money. And as you can see, 10K, this amount of money is pretty quick to come by in the game. But the other important portion of this is this unique schematics. So you can just straight up buy schematics for things that maybe you don't have or you want to build extra ones of. So you have this all right in here. I'll go to the very bottom. Oh man, this is actually filling out pretty nicely. It was dead the other day, and this is actually starting to fill with some really nice stuff on here. Like, who would buy that? Oh my gosh, who would do that in the middle of recording almost said a music video, a video. So you have quite a lot of things that you can leverage, and some things are going to be blown out of proportion. Some things are going to be super cheap. Just kind of flex around with this and find something that makes sense for you, or maybe just sell on it, whatever you want to do. And I don't think it's on here much yet. Okay, cool, there it is. So these Solido replicators, these have bases built into them, and I can hold down X for preview. And that's the base. So I can straight up buy a prefabbed base that someone's made, duplicated, and just thrown into this thing for me. So I don't have to go through the process of building a base out. I can just simply grab. These are pretty sick. I haven't looked at much of these yet because they haven't been on here. So you can say like, oh, okay, cool. Oh, this fits roughly the plot I want to deal with. So you can go ahead and slap these up. I wish it did give you a little bit of like transparency on like, hey, you will need an advanced thief console with this level of extension, so on and so forth. So you can see that like these kind of get a little, ooh, dude, is this the X-Men hub? Like, what is this? Is Xavier in there? You can see there's a lot of these really cool things that you can take advantage of. And I think that this is going to start to really get cool and awesome as we get more and more people utilizing this and leveraging it to have a lot of really cool things at your disposal. One thing though I will say about the exchange, after you have bought anything, make sure you click onto my orders and just go ahead and press claim on those items so that you know you've got them. Next up is the scrap trader, which you can find at the Arrakeen right as you come into the place. It's right here, the scrap trader. And this character will have a rotating stock every week. Everything in the top portion of this is rotating. Everything in the bottom is just stationary. And every week, these will be different faction items. Most of this says Harkonnen, but if I go to the top, you can see Atreides, and you'll see right there at this number that denotes the amount of reputation you're going to need with that faction to get access to it. So maybe this is a swatch, an Atreides deserter customization. Maybe it's an actual buildable construct here. Like here's actual office furniture, whatever it is. So there's a lot of different things in here, and it's just nice to know that you'll be able to buy these even if you're not Harkonnen or if you're not Atreides. I know you can betray your faction once, and I don't know if that means you lose all faction or not. I've yet to really actually do that. So this is a way to buy cross faction items if you need them. So if you're just starting off, you're probably familiar with the base building set, but there's also the CHOAM building set. Now this character right here is the base vendor. The base vendor follows the same rules as these two vendors down here. The vehicle vendor, and there's another vendor right next to the scrap trader. I can't zoom in to show you. But those two vendors, all of these vendors actually, and the weapons merchant follow the same rules of having that kind of reset. Only these characters have a daily reset. And it's nothing really crazy. This is all pretty set in stone. I think that Funcom has just set these statically for now, and maybe eventually they'll have rotating inventories. But we talked about the currency exchange, right? At the top, you can see I've got 59,000 credit. So all these things that I maybe want, let's go ahead and buy them. Cool, I don't need to actually have the money on me. It just pulls out of my bank and I'm good to go. So this is another one that I think you're gonna wanna leverage just to kind of get more decorations until you start to unlock a lot of the other decorations through Landsraad, through all the other mechanics in the game that do give you cosmetics and what have you. Across from the, I guess you could call it construction, what is this called? Yeah, base vendor, we have the weapon vendor. Now this one's gonna probably be better off just going to the exchange, but they will have 3 schematics here that are gonna rotate every day, and they're usually pretty good ones that are of pretty good value. This is duralinium, which is the very best material you can use. At that time in the game, 60k ain't too shabby, so don't worry about it. But again, you probably are going to be able to find these on the exchange, but for the sake of continuity in the video, I did want to bring this up. And also too, you know, hey, I don't really have a ton of, what's it called on me? Plant fiber. I'm just go ahead and buy like, maybe not 40, you psychopath. Well, 33? That's dirt cheap. Yeah, here, I'll buy 30. Boom, there we go. So you can just buy yourself a whole stack of heal kits here or whatever you want. You can do this to any other vendor for the most part, but this is what the weapon vendor affords you. Now there's one other vendor that I do want to talk about that is not related to our faction, which is also pretty important. So right down the way from the weapons vendor is the Landsraad Vendors. And I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. I think I'm doing it right. Now, I don't know where this is in Harko Village, but these 4 vendors have something to offer to anyone who is in this. So this is a Landsraad, and we'll go in this its own video, but basically if you're allied either House Atreides or Harkonnen, they will be the one who has claimed the decree, and that is the individual who is there, or that's the faction that's going to then get the benefit of the decree. So in this example, House Atreides has claimed the decree, so they get CHOAM production contract, crafting costs are reduced by 25%. These are the available decrees, and that means then too, they can use these vendors. Landsraad, there we go, Landsraad, sorry, not Landsraad. So the Landsraad vendors allow you to get special items, either through armor, through weapons, through tools, and lastly, through vehicles. So these Landsraad vendors are going to be pretty crucial to the events of the Landsraad. If you're not familiar with the Landsraad, let me just give you like the like super high level. You basically would contribute to any one of these that you wish, depending upon where they are. So these guys, for example, are in Haga Basin versus this is in the deep desert. So maybe you're not deep desert ready, so you can just go do these, where they say, hey, deliver these items to this quartermaster, and you'll find these quartermasters throughout the basin as you're going and exploring. For example, here, Deep Vets here has a vendor, or I'm sorry, has a quartermaster right by one of the locations for the Harkonnen, and I don't want to spoil these things on the map. Discovery is the biggest portion of this game, right? So you'll find these locations and do some of these quests that say at the bottom, okay, deliver 10,000 Solari, give a buoyant rapier Mark 5. This gives you rewards, and as you hit that goal amount, you'll be able to get more and more things. And again, that's a super high level. I've distilled it down to its very base level. There's more to talk about with that, but Landsraad is really like the end game for overall progression. But what else can we do in these social hubs? And it's paying taxes, your favorite thing to do. In this location, we have the tax collector. So why this is important is you want to pay your taxes. If you've got 1 week to pay them. If you don't, you get an extra week of leniency. So in case you want to go like a 2-week, whatever, you have to come here and pay your taxes. So I have right now an advanced sub-fief console that is unpaid, time remaining 2 days. What you can do here is you can pay the taxes of your fief or your secondary fief. You can have 2 bases. Eventually, I think you can go to 3. I don't think you can go to 4, but you pay taxes on those. But you also pay taxes on any of your friends' houses that have co-owned you, or you at least can pay those if you so wish. I wish there was like a little bit more transparency here. So just know that you'd pay invoice for the individual or pay total for all of them. I couldn't see if I was paying mine or my friends, so I just paid it all. Like, screw it, I'll just take them all out. But this is a really good way that if you're going to go on like a big vacation or whatever, and you're worried about your taxes, because if your shield shut off, your base decays, and if your base decays, you come back to nothing. This allows you to actually have your friend pay your taxes for you, so you don't have to worry about it, because otherwise you might lose that. So make sure you pay your taxes. Such a weird thing to say in a video game. And you can also have people do it for you in case you can't actually get around to it. Just make sure they set you as a co-owner on their Subfief console. Now, the last thing to go into is your actual specific merchant. Specific meaning the actual faction of what village you're in. So in this case, we have the Atreides vendor is all the way out here. So if you jumped into Arrakeen and you didn't realize that there was a Atreides vendor, it's because it's all the way out over here at the residency approach. There's another vendor that's over here that's part of another portion of the main story quest. But there's also, this is not the proper representative, because that's that person right there. There's representatives all over these locations, so make sure you talk to the representatives if you want to take part in the Landsraad. If you're not at that point in the game, then just don't worry about it. But you can see here that this is where we would talk to the Atreides vendor, and we would be able to access all of the multiple items to buy at varying levels of rank. So this is the social hub on a high level, or like, it's not necessarily high level. We drilled down on pretty much everything, but this gives you an idea of why this place is so important. I don't know what's coming with, say, Duncan Idaho's dojo, or where the Warrens are really going to fill out. A lot of this stuff is kind of open-ended right now because we know DLCs are coming. If you've played Conan Exiles, you know that there's a lot of regular free updates that come to these games. So I expect these social hubs to start getting a lot more, I don't want to just say content, but a lot more kind of tie-ins or driving the reasons to come here for whatever reason outside of simply taxes and the CHOAM Exchange. Because right now, those are the two big reasons you come. Everything else is kind of whatever. Landsraad Vendors too. I don't really know enough of what's on those Landsraad vendors and how much and how great it is versus just going into the deep desert that you've already forgotten faction with. So that remains to be seen. So hopefully this gives you a better idea on how social hubs actually play into your game and why you should be just visiting them, not a ton, but regularly enough that you're dropping off money, checking the exchange for maybe any schematics that you're having little holes in, like buying that one that we just bought here, right? If I go to research, you can go down. Oh, where is it? I mean, when I'm ready to jump into aluminum, I have a really good still suit I can jump into right away. And it's the one that got good hydration capture and really good armor value. So that's nice. You can get these little things when they're really cheap on the exchange. Why not? And again, leverage it now when the economy doesn't really know what the hell's going on, right? Like there's stuff up there for 1,000. I saw things that were iron items that were up there for like 20K. So stuff's all over the place. You find it dirt cheap, just buy it, and you can just slap it in here and do whatever you want with it later. So this gives you a good idea on why you should be going to the social hubs. If you have any other big things that you've discovered in the social hubs, like I've gone over to the barkeeps. The barkeeps just sell spice stuff. You can go to the spice merchant and go buy spice stuff. If there's a water seller, they just sell water. So unless you've discovered certain things that I haven't, please by all means let it be known in the comment section below. Always want to make sure there is as much information disseminated out to the people as possible. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. Have a good one and take care.